So, uh, let's start again. Hi, I'm the Greater Fiki, co-founder of this channel, here on the Greater Restoration channel. And we're back tonight with another episode of Victorian Vigilante, Victorian 3rd edition campaign, which I've been running for a while with these amazing cast of people. And some of them you may have seen over the weekend during our charity event, which we did. And we raised over 3,700 and something dollar for the Trevor project. So I want to thank everybody again for the generosity. I want to thank all the staff that work on it behind the scene, and some of them you have seen on stream. All the guests that we had on the show. That was one heck of a weekend, absolutely exhausting, and I'm extremely grateful for having the opportunity to do this, using this platform to do good, because that is the foundation of this channel. Is we use this platform to do good things. With this in mind, what? You know what? I said all those things while I was muted, and now I cannot remember what I said. That's great. It happens. But with this in mind, there was a lot of donation raffle, dice raffle, donation incentive, and all that. What we're doing right now, I know some people have contacted us about it. We are currently reaching out to those people that won those raffle. We did draw them, and we just want to confirm who won and if they're able to receive it. And once this has been confirmed and all that, we're gonna announce who the winner of each things are on those social media. The link was posted earlier today, but hey, might as well, do my whole thing again. If you do exclamation social and chat, it should bring you our Twitter, which is the_gr_crew, which is the same thing as our channel name here. So all that's going to be announced. Everything coming up with the channel will also be announced there. If for some reason we go dark on 1 week, and there's not going to be TTRPG like we did last week, because there was no way I was going to run things on the weekend and do this, I would have, just crash. Beside that, last thing, on my part at least, because some other people on my cast have some announcement as well. Today and tomorrow are the last day for the code Great April. If you do exclamation dice in the chat, it's going to give you a little link to Die Hard Dice and information on which RPG dice set will give us a little bit of kickback. Because with our code, you get 10% off your order regardless. But if you choose to add this, Kelpie dice set to your order, a little bit of kickback come back to us, and we absolutely appreciate it, because everything that we make here on this channel doesn't go in my pocket per se, or we keep it aside, and we hope to be able to either pay some staff that work on things, especially on mad weekend like we had this weekend, like for art, all the artwork that was donated, graphics and all that, those people did that voluntarily. They're absolutely amazing. I should have kept my command for that, but I had to change it quickly for tonight. But yeah, the amazing Rosen Sky, Sketchy Goblin, Sky Blue, they're all amazing people. I will need to go fun. Tuck, I think you do still have access to that comment folder by any chance? If you don't mind just dropping, dropping the copy and paste from that in the chat, that would be absolutely amazing. I would appreciate it. All those wonderful people work on art, and their work was absolutely stunning for the turnaround that they did, because the crew has just been ramping things up to 11, because none of us expected to go on front page until Monday morning. But that is pretty much what I have on my side for announcement. I do believe, there you go, thank you Duck, you're the best. I do believe, speaking of the French Duck, amazing streamer, cooking stream, awesome food, just good all around good bean. I do believe that they have a bit of an announcement.
So in addition to my stream tomorrow at 5 o'clock, which I'm still theoretically doing, at 10 a.m. tomorrow, you can find me over on the Opera Geeks channel. It is her birthday, and we are doing a stream of Overcooked while we raise money for the National MS Society. I have never played Overcooked. It's going to be very interesting chaos. So join us. It'll be at 10 a.m. I think ish. Over on twitch.tv/the Opera Geek.
Yeah, because it will be, I think, for that, it's going to be you, the Opera Geek, Kelly, an amazing person. I recommend that you follow her and watch her stream. It's absolutely joy. And it's, it's called the Opera Geek, but we all know regular there that it's actually a Scotty show. It's going to be Tuck, Dimples and Dice, who was the amazing storyteller on our Sunday game, and he plays on his own channel and on Rolling These 20s. So yeah, follow them as well. And I think it's who else is there? Banana Hammock.
Banana Hammock.
I'm not sure if they stream, but they're still a good person.
I believe he does stream. I believe Banana Hammock does stream.
Yeah. And I think
it'll be a lot of fun chaos.
I think there's going to be an appearance from Kelly's partner, PJ.
Yes, Jesus. The Pirate Jesus is also going to be making an appearance eventually on tomorrow's stream. It'll be very interesting.
So yeah, stay here tonight. We appreciate you here. Don't go anywhere. I mean, you can go if you want. But yeah, we encourage you to just go follow those amazing people, and if you can swing by tomorrow, that would be awesome. So, I think that is everything for the announcement that I've more or less done twice now. So, it's time for tonight's episode of Victorian Vigilante.
We interrupt this program in order to bring you news about the ongoing situation in our eastern colonies and news on the conscription bill recently introduced into the House of Commons. Now back to our regular scheduled programming.
And we are back, and now with sound as well. Great. So, last where we left off, in Victorian Vigilante, our group of, I wouldn't say exactly intrepid investigator, more of a motley crew of people with specific skill that are employed as investigator by the Doyle family currently, are currently looking for the missing children, the missing Doyles. During this journey, they travel across the city, met a few interesting people. One that is that got the attention right now is the dwarf, Mr. Harrington, who seemed to be the kind of fella that dwelled in all sorts of unsavory business for the most part, and a few, things that may possibly be legal. Where we left off, the party was scouting in one of the warehouses that they, I would not say set ablaze, but tactically set fire to certain location in the warehouse in order to make it escape. With this, the Alexandra and Zephrine were able to quickly follow one of the goon leaving the building by hitching a ride on the back of the car. And yeah, Basil followed suit on his Marvel, which are essentially just roller skates. And James, who for a moment thought he was able to long jump, tried to hop from building to building, nearly almost falling off. Luckily did not. Losing the party side of the party. And now I do believe drinking in the tavern somewhere.
Yes, drinking in the tavern that they just showed up at.
Yeah. So, I do believe when we left off.
We're not at the tavern.
Yeah.
No, we were.
Yeah.
We were at a
We're at the
different
house.
tavern.
Oh,
Yeah.
drinking.
And then
in
we
the
went to a
tavern that
different
they
house,
were
yeah.
at.
Yeah. And following, Mary Jones, they managed to go to 7th Fleet Street, where they did not necessarily saw, but heard the voice of said Mr. Harrington from within the building. And that is where we are starting. With, I do believe, Alexandra and Zephrine, and I do believe Basil, on their tail.
Yeah, I think I was just catching. We were just catching up as it ended or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we delayed well enough for Basil to catch up, and then so the three of us all managed to make the tail to 7th Fleet Street.
Hmm.
Well,
Well, that was exhausting. I mean, not handy, but
Certainly
it
harrowing.
requires effort. Yeah, yes. Impressive physicality, holding on. I've never tried that.
well, don't ask me to do it again. I think, and you can see, Alexandra's arms are, shaking, the kind of shaking you have after a really strong workout. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that anytime soon, ever again.
Yes, because this definitely did put some strain on your bodies.
My frail, weak, gnomish body.
I have a 1 strength. I
I
don't know how we
Negative 1
did it.
strength.
I would say
I
for
have a
the
negative 1 strength because I'm a gnome and I'm weak. Gnomes are specifically fragile, so I have even less physicality than a normal person.
I'm just a lazy rich dude. I got no physicality either.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there leaning against the wall, still wheezing from having, chased a cart and on roller skates. So what? Yes. Where the hell is this? And I'm looking around the neighborhood, trying to get my bearings. Am I familiar with the area at all?
It is very middle class, so you may be vaguely familiar with the area. Some of you may not be, because that's just not your neighborhood. But
Can we do a can people do a perception check to get a sense of the house that we've just pulled up at, and maybe even see through a window and see if there are people there?
so you just essentially want to, see if you can actually see anything from where you're currently standing in the street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me just a general perception check. I'm not gonna put any difficulty against it. I already have a general, based on the amount of success, regardless what you made it see. Success.
Oh my god, I rolled horribly. Also 2 successes on 9 dice.
And Basil, if you wanted to give it a shot at that.
Yep, working on that.
All right.
I need to get smaller dice so I can roll them all in one hand.
Yeah.
Also,
Also,
one success.
those that were hanging behind on the cart, could you just all just for the fun of it, just give me a fortitude check, just to see how tired you are from because none of you are built to be strong. That wasn't one heck of a ride. It's still your muscle will be a bit sore from it.
I have no dice to roll.
Just roll one.
So I have 2 fortitude dice.
Regardless of
one success.
One success.
I rolled no successes. I rolled a 4 and a 3, so I'm
alright.
I'm a little tired.
So, as the free for the next hour, you will have like 1 extra black die to anything that is requires any sort of strength or things like that, or and Alexander is gonna be for the next 2 hours. So from what you can see from within the building, which is a bit difficult, most windows are have shades in them, and it's poorly lit, probably for a reason. From what you can see there, there's definitely a movement. A few people that you're able to see quickly, just moving in front of the window. Exactly who it is, you're not sure. Based on the shape and frame of some, you expect to see Harry Jones, who just got there. You haven't seen the silhouette of Miss Harrington just yet, but you do notice the massive body of Tom, just because, well, he's a big man, and he, if there's light, he's gonna create a lot of shadow. There's a few other people in there. Their reason of their business there, I'm not sure yet, because you're not within the building. But yeah, it's a bit of a party.
This would be an opportune time to check out the warehouse, but again, I'm really not sure what that would buy us. So we're trying to break into this place.
I don't know if breaking in here also gets us anything other than potentially a bullet in our face.
That is to be avoided if at all possible. Speaking of bullets, where's our soldier friend?
I don't know. I lost track of him when I jumped on the cart.
Yeah.
I assumed he was following.
Well, if anything, we have a place that we can meet up at. I think that
That's
at this point,
yes.
the pub is an established place for us to meet at.
Hopefully he'll head down. Or maybe he saw something else and was following it. So what are we doing? Do we attempt to bluff our way into this? Do we go to the warehouse? Do we just mark the location, come back later?
I'm not sure there'd be anything to come back to later.
This
seems to be a gathering where if there's any information to be gleaned, it'd be by listening in to those who are already here. Now, I agree that we do seem to have the people who were at the warehouse last night are not there, although we thought there was at least one more person at the warehouse when we left it.
Two improbable questions, Dan. One, how close do we think we could get to this place, to the windows? It's like, could you hunker down and be like behind some shrubs and like be within arm's reach of a window where we're seeing these shadows and stuff?
Yes, there's shrubbery.
In front of the house, there's a bit of a picket fence. Mm-hmm. There's not really shrubbery in front of it. As far on the side,
picket fence, really.
It is a very packed neighborhood, so it's really mostly house on house on house. So there's a bit of a gap between the two houses, like about say like a foot distance. As for what comes in the backyard, you're not sure yet.
But this front window where we're seeing the silhouettes and stuff, it's plainly visible from the road, or could we hunker down behind the picket fence?
You could hunker down. I mean, it is picket fence, and you can see through the fence. It's not a solid thing. Mm-hmm. You could technically hunker down behind there. Just to give you a visual, there's a few steps that lead to the porch, and there's about I'd say 4 feet, 4 to 5 feet before the window begins. So somebody could technically go on, like by the window.
Because here's the second half of the question. Oh, go ahead.
I have a
Alexander.
question. Does it look like someone of a smaller size? Thinking of Zephrine and myself, does it look like someone of a smaller size can scooch our way in between the houses?
Yeah, I mean, even like I, being a tall person, as like an actual human, sideways can, probably scooch myself there. Will my butt, rub against the house? Probably, yes. But it is physically possible.
Well, here's my second half of my question about that. I have the deep pockets talent, so I have in my satchel and trench coat stuff all sorts of random knickknacks.
Yeah.
Is it entirely possible that I might have an old stethoscope so that we could sit and hunker down next to the window and hold that at a corner of the glass and listen?
What would, like, in his general daily life, would Basil do with a stethoscope?
Working on machinery, listening to engines, and
all right,
for listening to gears and
roll me a d6.
Whatever else. Rolling a d6. 5.
Yeah, you probably have one in your pocket. I mean, it is a weird thing to have.
I'm a weird guy.
I mean, among other like knickknacks.
I mean, I just invented roller skates in Victorian era. So
exactly. I mean, there's a reason why Basil is not the stealthiest person. It's because he has a lot of shit in his pockets. And some of those knickknacks do make a lot of noise, whether he wants it or not. But yeah, that would be possible. It would reduce slightly the difficulty for hearing. But
so as we're talking, you see going through my pouches and pulling out random stuff that just makes absolutely no sense. A weird extra shoe, and pull out stethoscope. I'm probably not the best person, but if you're wanting to listen, the window.
This could work if you were as a lookout.
Certainly, I'm definitely not the best for hiding.
Yes, I think Zephrine and I are going to be a little more stealthy.
I handed to her. It's like, of course, I'm with the signal, man.
Okay. To the window or between the walls? I feel more confident at hiding, okay. As I'm picturing this house, is there like potentially a side window to listen in at rather than listening at only the front window? That's my question as well.
If you walk a bit against towards the side to peek, there is indeed a side window, but it is at like a second floor type of deal.
So unlikely to be a window into the room that they're in.
Unlikely, yes.
Okay.
I think your best bet is to hunker and
play innocent by at the front. Yeah. With you as a lookout. Okay.
I mean, that's the best I can come up with. That's the best idea I can come up with at the moment.
So
I do agree that this is probably the only idea that we can come up with. And then after this, we go back to the pub and meet up with our companion.
All right. While the party's, contemplating their plan of action, James, you who is lost currently, probably drinking the pub, because following the party was a bit difficult.
That's what I do.
That is just what you do. It's your daily life. What exactly are you doing right now? Are you doing anything particular?
I'm sitting around telling some jokes and trying to do stand-up comedy.
All right, just for the hell of it, just give me. I think there's a charisma stat for It is presents.
I wish I could tell you what I have in it, but my sheet currently does not want to load.
Oh, alright. That is unfortunate. Alright, well, just roll me a d6.
Okay, I will gladly roll a d6.
And hopefully your character sheet will be able to load, because that will be useful. And I don't have backup on my end, so...
That's why I printed my character sheet out, so at least I had a good chance of having a physical copy.
I do love paper.
One success.
What? So, I mean, your humor, you know, may be crude at times, but it's not too terrible. I mean, it's, you know, kind of plays it, you know... It has moderate success there, you know. Is it high comedy? No. But, you know, people are drunk, so they will laugh at dumb shit. Anything else you may be doing on your end, besides, you know, drinking and telling jokes?
No, nothing else.
Alright, perfect. Alright, back to our intrepid trio full of what I can only expect will be a series of terrible ideas and plans.
Hey, these are great ideas. They're just likely to be poorly executed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad.
So, what's the plan?
Well, I'm going to look out.
Is it both of us hunker down, or just one of us take the stethoscope and go try to hunker?
Well, if one wants to add to the lookout discussion, we could be standing here having a discussion for people who walk by, discussing the news or whatever, or the two of you can go there to increase the chances of maybe overhearing something. But I would suggest you have a plan of just an excuse as to what you're doing there should someone stumble out from inside the house. I can't watch both the house and the street. I figure I'll be here by the fence.
I think it's better to have one person person doing lookout, and the other person, and then we have you and the other person doing lookout, so that you can kind of split focus to...
Right, one watch the door right next to you, so you can, like, shove each other around the corner or something. I'll watch the street and make a ruckus if I see another wagon pull up.
You're on mute.
I'm muted. This is me metagaming for a second. Zafreen, what is your hide and sneak, and what is your perception?
So I get a total of 6 dice for hide and sneak, and I get a total of 6 dice... Oh, no. Sorry, I get 4 dice for hide and sneak, and I get 6 dice for perception. I thought I had more in dex.
Okay. It may... Question, GM, would this be considered investigating a crime or a crime scene? Considering that there is nefarious activity happening here?
I mean, it is not a crime scene yet.
But it's investigating a crime.
How do you justify it?
They are definitely, no matter what is happening, whether it is related to the Doyle children or not, there is something there's most likely something definitely illegal happening in this house. And having the ability to pay really close attention would be very helpful in this situation.
You know what? I feel generous. Sure.
Yes! So the reason I asked that is because that would give me my deduction, which gives me 11 dice for perception.
It will help you on certain aspects from it. So what you may learn from it will probably be a bit different. But yeah, it will help. At least it will increase your dice pool.
I mean, so either way I have 9 in perception.
Yeah, so I act as lookout, and you try to listen in, is what it sounds like you're suggesting. Okay, that's fine.
That's my thought, and then I can just play drunken deadbeat if I'm discovered.
All right.
Well, I would think the quickest thing would be you to duck around into between the houses.
The alley, yes, that could also work.
But then, if still caught, then be drunk.
Yes.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I will stay outside the picket fence, just making random things to do, lighting my pipe and pulling out some probably 2-day-old newspaper that I have in one of my bags and pretending to stand there and read that.
I don't trust my dice.
All right. All right. Let's see how we're gonna play that. So those were standing guard. Give me the perception check.
Okay.
Yeah, just give me a perception quickly. Basic difficulty. There's a bit of a position just because it's, you know, not a very well lit street. So just give me with 3 black dice.
3? That's not good.
Just my regular 3. I'm not... The extra one was being added for something like strength based, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not applicable to it. You're not that exhausted.
Cool.
3 successes, 2 failures, so 1
3
to the good.
successes, 1 failure.
All right, perfect.
So I got 2 total successes.
All right, I'm just gonna make note of that, because that may have an impact later. Because I mean, it's just going to count that as, you know, period of time that you're doing your thing. Alexandra, you're currently attempting to sneak by the window.
Yes. Do I have to roll black dice with that? Because I'm
I would say
tired.
I would say roll 1 black dice against it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a very difficult task per se, because you know it's not a
I'm
very.
rolling these one at a time because I'm so scared.
Like I said, it's not a very well lit area, but you know, there's still a challenge.
Oh no, that didn't fall in the tray.
But she's listening.
I'm nervous.
One,
Oh no.
Yeah, but she also has to get there,
Okay.
without causing
Okay.
ruckus and actually probably sneak between.
2 successes. Nothing on the black dice.
All right, so you take your time. You use your nimble dwarven feet to sneak your way there, using your short stature as advantage. And you manage to get by the window, which, like I said, is about 5 feet high. How tall is Alexandra, just out of curiosity?
3 feet tall?
So,
Can I reach? I can't reach, can I?
I mean,
it's not gonna be that high. They didn't have that high windows.
No.
maybe on your tippy toe, and reaching up, you could probably reach bottom corner of the window. Which I mean,
if I saw that this would be a problem, we would jury rig something for her to reach.
I mean, I'm sure that you have like I don't know, like tin candy in your pocket that you can use as a little stealth or something.
Yeah.
Sure, we can manufacture platform shoes. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
Or even that, or even just like a stick thing to help her reach the stethoscope up there.
Yeah, easy enough. I mean, there is you could probably find a little stick on the side when you're lucky. But yeah. Okay, so you're using that thing to perceive.
I'm adding deduction to this roll, which gives me 2 extra dice, which brings me up to 11 dice.
All right. So normally it would be a incredibly difficult task to do because a stethoscope is not designed to listen through glass. But you know what? I'm the GM here. I'm gonna make calls.
Admittedly.
Yeah. I'm just gonna make it a 6 black dice opposed to that instead of a 9.
Okay. Cool.
So if you want to roll and give me your level of success and failure.
Already not starting great. Oh my god.
11 dice, 0 successes.
Just gonna roll their general perception inside as well.
Okay. That's 4 successes. I rolled 4 2s in a row.
Okay.
A lot of twos.
That's a lot of 2s.
That's a lot of 2s. And you roll your black dice.
I'm rolling my black dice now. Okay, only 1 success on the black dice. I rolled a lot of 2s, y'all. I rolled
Damn.
3 2s on the black dice as well.
All right. So even with your high dice pool, I mean, it has been a long. It has been a bit more exhausting than you anticipated, and you're not exactly used and trained to use a stethoscope as it should properly, and this is not exactly the intended use of the device, but it did help a little. You're mostly able to hear muffled talk. You hear about like 4 different voices within. As per what they're saying in details, it's a bit difficult. Occasionally, you will hear like the loud laughter and things like that. But non-descript, discussion. Maybe like rough, days, maybe like the only one thing that you may be able to hear is a mention of cargo. And yeah.
Can I ask a question about the voices I'm hearing?
Yeah, it is a bit muffled, but you do recall, we're hearing some of them. You do recall, the voice of Mr. Harrington, Tom, Eric Jones. The other voice in there, you're not sure. You may not have met them yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question about it is, does it sound high enough that it could be either someone who is assigned female at birth or a child?
There's definitely possibly a female voice in the mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound in that kind of there, because like I'm. This is when music tech comes out. Knowing like the tones of different like this like the tones of different people's voices.
Yep.
It does not sound like there is a child voice in there.
No.
Okay. So that definitely tells us that the Doyle children are not in there.
Or at least not in that room.
Or at least they're not
I'm
in that
talking.
room.
Because a house is bigger than a room.
Or talking.
Right.
Okay. Somewhat useful. Not that much. I will sneak my way back to my companions.
Yeah, I mean, easy
and
enough.
tell them what I heard.
While on lookout, you may have like noticed a few people just like walking on like adjacent streets. But nothing that really caught your attention per se. The occasional, late night drunk coming back home from the pub. But
How does it work? I was curious. It works fairly well outdoors. I'm not too sure about glass.
I'm not sure it works really well on glass, considering I couldn't hear that many words, but I could hear different voices. There appears to be, I think, a woman inside there as well. Didn't hear voices of the children, which is, a sign-ish. There was mention of cargo.
And with cargo, this is a particularly outside thought, but cargo and this whole situation, is it possible that the female voice you heard, could it have been Mrs. Doyle?
GM?
she did not sound snobbish enough to be Mrs. Doyle. There, even muffled, there's still a certain, flair that comes with, the way some people will speak.
Cadence and stuff.
Cadence and all that. It doesn't exactly sound like Mrs. Doyle.
Does it match any of the women we've met in this investigation, or any of the women that I have met in the previous time? Like any of the higher society women that I have worked with.
Just give me, let's say, general knowledge, just to recall. No difficulty per se.
Hey, apparently I need to burn my dice. 3 successes.
2 success. It does. I mean, it's not a high society woman, just based on her cadence. It is possibly some. The voice sounds vaguely familiar. It's not necessarily somebody that you spoke with per se, but maybe somebody that you may have, just roughly over here in some local establishment.
Did it sound like the prostitute that we talked to that very first night?
Crazy lady.
I mean, it has a very similar tone.
I was thinking the maid.
Wait, you were saying it has a similar tone to who?
To the little lady of the night.
Oh, your friend.
Mm-hmm.
That was the prostitute that told us that she thought that he did something to the children, that something bigger was at play.
Obviously, she knows a few things, and there's a way for her to know things. So.
Being in charge is one way to know.
So, while we're mulling over this, I have a terrible idea, and I'm not gonna suggest it in character unless it's actually determined to be, not as awful as I think it is gonna be. But, we said it was about a 1-foot gap between the houses, and the floor was on the second floor. Now, if I try to, spider climb my way up, to the second floor and break into that window. How bad an idea is this idea?
I mean, me as a GM?
I could climb up there, glass cut my way in. Just saying.
If the window is even locked.
That's true.
Yeah.
Me as a GM, I love the idea.
Windows.
We could also make a human ladder, or
humanoid ladder.
A person ladder.
Now, in fairness, I have ranks in athletics because I figured I was climbing my way into second floor windows.
Just keep in mind, again, this is out of character. You are quite exhausted.
Yes, I do have an additional difficulty on trying to do this.
But I like the idea. We're already full of having managed to survive spectacularly interesting ideas that have gone spectacularly bad. So I'm all for this. Go for it.
So this is different. So I know that it is not D&D. Is there a mechanic of being able to assist?
I'm not sure if there's a mechanic of able to assist per se. Certain things may be a bit less difficult, depending, but I will,
Don't forget one of you guys.
I can make the call. I'm gonna say that it may remove some difficulty dice, depending how the assistance is done.
Although having 2 lookouts again may be useful, so especially.
Also, don't forget if you are going in, one of you two, I forget who I handed it to, has one of my pocket bombs.
I can hand that to Zephrine.
What could go
Just
wrong?
in case you need to make a quick exit or distraction.
It's a smoke bomb. We've played with more dastardly things in this game already.
I know, it's an actual bomb.
I have those too. We just guys haven't wanted me to use them yet.
So
welcome to Chaos
like
Crew.
I'm climbing up the I'm spider climbing up to the second floor window and taking the smoke bomb with me.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Now, do you have any tool or equipment that would help you in this endeavor?
In the climbing, no.
Yes, because you know it is not exactly the, the
have
best surface.
Yeah, no, I have extra clothes and a walking cane that I might be able to like wedge or something, but I'm not sure I'm making the best use of that.
So for some that it's almost like an expert will be able to do that kind of shit. Do you consider yourself an expert at climbing?
Climbing up small spaces? No, I'm pretty sure the way I usually break into houses is not wedging
because that is
the two spaces between two
that
houses.
is a difficulty 12. That's why I asked, if you had anything that will help you in this endeavor to maybe lower that a little bit.
Does the deep pocket have anything that might help with this endeavor?
Deep pocket only has so many things, right?
Yeah, and I just looked it up. There is the mechanic. It does have a mechanic DM if you choose to use it on how to decide if I have a thing, which is that the game master may roll up to 4 black die. Any successes on the black die means I don't have it. So that's just the in-book way versus the D6 that you had roll. I mean, I might have some rope or something. We could pile some boxes up, or then stand on my shoulders, something like that. But I'm also not particularly strong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're gonna get into this house.
I mean, it is not impossible.
Like
it's just extremely difficult.
Go ahead, try it.
This is requiring the roll of a rolling like a 2 nat 20s on disadvantage.
Yeah. As we're going covering possibilities
on 12 black dice.
Well, here's the option. Another. As we're looking at ways to solve this with each of our specialties, there's mine. I could get them to leave the house quickly.
I'm not sure that
Fire does that.
Any information though.
Well, once they've left, they're not in there.
Honestly,
right, but I think the information gathering is by listening.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying.
Where they're not for information, perhaps we take advantage of the fact that they're here and go back to the warehouse and see what we can find there.
I did suggest that was discussed. Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. I think we've reached our limits with what we can do here. I think we go back to the warehouse, snoop out the warehouse, and then go meet up with James because I think James probably has done the smart thing for this evening and gone to the pub.
It's possible he's social engineering and finding things out, talking to people, gathering information.
James, are you gathering information or social engineering?
Sure, I'll start trying to gather information.
All right. Just I'm pretty sure you have a lot of presents. Were you able to load up your sheet?
My presence is 1.
Okay. Do you have anything in charm?
No.
Then roll me a d6.
Okay.
And I'm assuming the rest of you are heading back to the warehouse.
Sure.
It's a 6, so one success.
I mean, you're able to, charm somebody a little bit, be a bit charming. As for the information you gather, I mean, it's not exactly, the most. You don't necessarily get anything specific for this, but somebody actually in this pub actually likes you, so you may have a free drink.
Yay! By the way, by the time they get here, I'm passed out drunk.
Oh yeah.
Most likely, I expected that. Alright. So, eventually, for sake of brevity, if that's where you decided to go to the warehouse, you can make your way there. Doors are locked. It is, nighttime, not much light. Yeah, you're there.
Okay.
I just stand at the door and look at the two of them. It's like, this is not my thing.
Out of curiosity, did you guys come get me and then go?
That would be the kind thing to do.
Is it on the way? Then yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you're at the pub that's around the corner, then yes.
It is a minor detour.
Okay,
It is a minor. Sure.
Can we say we grab James?
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, good.
Definitely.
Hey guys, I didn't find anything useful.
Oh,
I got a free drink.
Hey, yeah, that's more than we've achieved.
Hey, achieved something. We discovered that we may have been lied to by the Lady of the Night.
What's your friend have to do with this?
I think she was in there.
Oh. Well,
So
that would have been a useful inn. You could have been calling on her.
I don't think she's I don't think I'm her type.
Hope springs eternal. Anyway. Yeah, at the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, just because I did it out of curiosity, on my 4 optional dice to succeed, I got 2 successes, and then on my 12 dice to fail, I got two successful failures, so I would not have made it.
So yeah,
I just wanted to see what that was.
it was a
been
very
entertaining.
Looney Tune thing, like slide along the way, with some pain involved.
Making lots of noise and getting us caught, yes.
Yeah, noise and pain. Yeah, that would have been what happened.
And and injuring of health.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So we're at the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna check the door we used the first night to see if it's still unlocked.
It has been locked.
I feel like that would be rebolted. I think we should go to the door we escaped through, because the hinges were on the outside. Oil those hinges and then unlockpick it.
All right, that makes sense too.
That does make sense.
All right. So, I mean, we have determined that, Basil has, like, oil in his pocket, because that's the thing that he does. Working with machines and things like that, it's a normal thing to carry around. There's a bit of a position with that, so it is a difficulty 3 to unlock it as lock picking skill. If you could just, like... And you're not as much in a rush as the first time, so...
I would still recommend that when we're in there, we sneak.
Mm-hmm.
Because there could still be a person there.
So, 2 successes, 0 failures to pick the lock.
Alright. It takes you a little bit of time, but you do manage to unlock it. And you are able to peek inside the warehouse. The door doesn't make as much noise thanks to Basil Pocket Oil.
Before we enter, do we hear anyone inside?
Give me just a general perception.
Oh.
Wow, I really need to burn my dice. Two successes. I'm gonna try rolling with some other dice.
I am kicking butt on this one. I am really attentive right now. I got 5 successes.
Ooh.
You know who has amazing dice? Die Hard dice. Get your
Yeah,
dice now.
I need to go order some Die Hard dice because my dice
One
apparently
success on the
don't just like
perception.
me.
Okay.
They do have good shiny click clacks.
0 successes on my perception.
That tracks.
Probably still a little wobbly from your freezer.
Yeah. Redcon question, James. How much did you drink at a pub?
I drank the free drink plus 2 others.
All right. Just give me like a general fortitude check.
No.
Sure will.
I mean, you should have a decent fortitude, right?
He's mostly robot. It's just lubrication for him, right?
Yes,
My
we all know that
fortitude's
beer is the
a
best
2.
lubricant. What do you say, James?
My fortitude's at 2, and I got 1 success and 1
All right.
failure.
So you're,
Or
you know,
one success.
all right. So you're good.
Black eye.
I mean, you know, you're a bit tipsy, but that's the most you got there. I mean, you had more than enough time.
Exactly. Plus, compared to last time, this is nothing.
Yeah, you've learned, lesson learned. All right. And Alexandra and Basil, did you give me a perception?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got
5
2.
successes.
And Zafreen got 1, I think.
Yeah.
I got 2.
You take a look around. You listen carefully. You don't hear any noise inside. So, either people are extremely quiet, or it's just currently unoccupied. Because I mean, you did take a lot of time between now and then, so people may have come and go. So.
There are hundreds of mimes. Wait, no.
I mean, beside the occasional warehouse critter,
Mm-hmm.
it is fairly quiet.
Alright, so I suggest we sneak our way up to the office,
Mm-hmm.
which we discovered on our last trip here.
Yep. If you want to sneak around, well, you can just give me hide and sneak.
Something I forgot to buff.
God, why?
Because you keep
I'm
threatening to
rolling
burn
my
them.
dice.
Quit
It's
threatening to
hard.
burn them.
Be kind to your dice.
It's hard for me
Cleanse
to
them.
fail because
Do a ritual. I don't know.
I need to just order new dice from Die Hard. That's what I gotta do.
I got nothing.
I got 2.
Okay.
Did
0.
I roll the highest for hide and sneak?
And James.
Okay.
All right. So
I'm
tippy-toeing
I'm carrying
around
around a satchel and a long coat full of random crap. I'm not quiet.
in
I
almost
should be, but somehow
Scooby-Doo-ish
I'm not
way
quite
to
in the
tiptoe.
warehouse.
No, the junk that is in Basil's pocket is making a bit of noise. Thankfully, the warehouse appears to be empty right now. Luckily, it is currently appear to be empty.
Can we get up to the office?
Sure, you make your way like up there, walk on the metal staircase, and you are in front of the office. You see like this little ledge, and there's like a bit of glass windows that have an overlook like the warehouse. That's this boss office, and there's a door which is currently locked.
Is it free?
On it.
Wait. Can we quickly listen to Can we use the stethoscope? Try and listen to make sure there's no one on the other side of the door.
You can certainly do that.
Okay. Somehow, on 9 dice, 1 success.
I mean, it might just be like the overall ambiance of the dock. That is also, bothering you. There's a lot of noise down there. But you don't hear anything in particular.
2 successes on picking the lock.
Did you roll 3 black die against it?
No.
you do that for me?
Sure.
I
So
think you just
one
need to die.
one failure dies, so 1 success overall.
Okay. So it takes you quite some time, to the point that you're getting a bit nervous when you like hear the first few tumbler. Okay, it's coming loose. A bit further, like get a bit stuck, and you can feel your lockpick bend a bit. You're there being extremely careful, but eventually you do manage to open that door.
Is there someone on the other side?
There is somebody sleeping on the couch.
Good thing we hold them hinges.
Does it look like does it look like a child sleeping, or does it look like an adult?
No, it is a full-grown man sleeping there, in dirty clothes. It was probably his job to, keep an eye on the office and things like that, but,
The night watchman sort of thing?
type of deal. You do, see an empty flask by his side.
Yeah.
Does he
Quietly
look-
come over, take a look, and see if I can determine if he's like just sleeping or kind of like blackout drunk.
Just give me like a general empathy check.
Okay.
I'm
Fortunately,
gonna have my rifle in my hands.
That is a smart move.
oh, 1 success.
I mean, it's hard to tell. Liquor was probably involved in falling asleep. To the extent you're not very sure. It's not somebody that you know personally, right? So.
All right.
Is it like the overwhelming, do they smell like
Smell.
James did the other night, overwhelming alcohol, or just kind of a...
I mean, there is definitely a sense of alcohol and things like that. Although you're not sure if it's just a general person, or the fact that he just drank.
Do we want to send in the 2 sneaky?
You can speak
High
a bit
perception.
louder so people on
Oh,
stream can
sorry.
hear you. I will understand that you're
forgot.
whispering.
Stage whisper.
Stage whispering.
Stage
Alexander
whispers.
whispers. I don't. Do we want to send in the 2 sneaky perceptive people? And have you 2 unprepared
I just-
to go bam if something happened? Because we can always hide under a
Yes.
desk.
Yeah.
I think that is an amazing idea.
So Zephrine
Sounds
and I are sneaking
I
in.
here's an idea. James, you've got the range. Keep an eye on the warehouse of anyone coming in behind us.
Mm.
I'll keep an eye on this guy because it's not going to take a rifle to take him out from here. And you 2 sneakies rifle through everything you can as quietly as you can.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Good plan.
All right.
Okay.
So sneaky roll.
Yeah, give me, for those that are sneaking and raffling through things, I will need first a hide and sneak roll.
Oh God.
I'm gonna roll for is perception, which will be essentially the equivalent of position.
How'd I roll 3 4s in a row? How'd I do that?
Luck sucks, that's how.
1 success.
2 successes.
Okay. And Basil and James, you're keeping your lookout, right? Essentially, more or less, in your own way.
I'm acting like I'm supposed to be here, so if somebody walks in,
Okay.
they think that I'm supposed to be here.
All right. Okay.
I'm just keeping an eye on the sleeping guy, ready to quiet him as thoroughly as necessary if he wakes up.
Perfect. So, Zephrine and Alexander, you sneak in there. There's no light at all. Like the fact that you were able to see him sleeping on the couch, It's just your eyes is adjusting to the ambient darkness and a bit of light peeking from the outside through the windows. For a moment, you panic a little bit. You see him shuffle, but he seems to sustain and just be quiet and go back to his dreams of booze and other things. I don't whatever he may be dreaming of.
Do I have time for perception?
That would be, I think, more. But if you're like raffling around some papers and like looking for very, very specific things, there's no. There's no specific investigation.
There's no investigation.
So yeah, it would be perception if you have anything investigating skills. You may use that.
Okay, perception, and then can I add on my 2 deduction dice because this place is definitely full of crime shit.
Yeah, there's definitely.
We can't break in, so there's a crime in progress.
Yeah,
exactly.
It is still. It is very difficult because there's no light, unless you want to light something up. So roll 6 black dice against it.
I need a dice cleansing ritual. If you are oh my god. Oh my god.
If anybody in chat knows about, dice cleansing ritual, please send it to Tuck. They may need it.
Please tweet at me at the French Tuck on Twitter some dice cleansing rituals because wow, my dice are rolling oh badly. I'm rolling 11 dice, y'all, and I'm rolling 3 successes.
Only rituals I know of involve either
4 failure dice.
How many, Safrine?
2 successes, 4 failure.
That's rough.
3 successes, 2 failures.
So between the two of you, it takes you probably a bit more time than you're comfortable with to raffle through some papers. Occasionally making a bit of noise, having to stop. You do come across, what appear to be some kind of, business ledger. That's, there. A few letters to potential partners. Appears to be mostly, just going through. It's, really, really difficult to read in here. But, you take some time and, read it and look at it. On the occasional, beam of moonlight that comes in. You do. The only thing that may be vague is a half piece of a letter that was torn, burned bit, and if you're able to rubble through like some trash about import from the east, and a sentence that started with a capital D.
Alright, well, I would, whichever of us finds that, if it's me, I would definitely grab that and then start to skedaddle out of the office.
That was mostly in that was like that specific note was in trash, so it may not be as noticed.
Okay, as long as it's
I
from
definitely
the
take
trash.
it in the trash.
Also, you were whispering in real life again.
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry. I'm
Stage whisper.
Whisper. To be fair, I'm usually I am a loud human being, so even my whispers are usually quite loud.
There you go. Use your loud whisper as a human being.
I will say that's how the good role players do it.
Oh Lord.
Yep.
The business ledger that we find. What are we seeing within it? What kind, can we figure out from within it, if, the little pieces that we're seeing, if they're using, a cipher or a code to, disguise their business dealings? Do we see, sugar from Jamaica being, being able to piece together.
What? Excuse me. I wonder what kind of check that would be to you. I mean, it would technically be perception, I'm assuming, because there's no specific. How much time do you want to spend against that?
Recognize ciphers.
How much do I want to put
because
against
you also
it?
have like very little no light near, so to actually properly read that and go through, you either have to bring up a light source or take the ledger to a light source.
Can I bring the ledger closer to the door? Where there's some light filtering in.
You could.
And kind of do like a hold along, so I can like move it along the light.
Yeah, it is an extremely difficult task to do. To understand, if there's any because obviously there's shorthand in there.
Yeah.
As most would.
Wait, could I lend assistance in interpreting this? I'm from a business family.
All right.
So
with assistance, instead of being a difficulty 12, it will be just a difficulty, let's say 10, or actually no, let's put it at difficulty 8, because
it is a criminal ledger.
Yeah, you can use your thing against it. So whoever is looking at it, you can do that. I will lower difficulty because Basil was kind enough to look over your shoulder and try to go through that as well.
Oh wait, shit. I don't remember if that was one of the dice I had already rolled. I don't think so. Okay. And then I'm rolling 8 black dice?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa, jeez. The dice went everywhere. Okay, that's 2 failures.
Okay.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 successes.
Okay.
3 successes, 3 failures.
So within that, you are able to. Yeah, there's definitely a few things here and there that. You're used to seeing like business ledger and things like that. Both you and Basil, being. And having to keep track of some things. Some people have to keep track of the books. It is well balanced to the point that there's definitely somebody that's definitely hiding something in there. Comes and goes from all over the world that comes here. Are they specific to what you're looking for, which is clues for the missing Doyle? Not per se. At least not that you're able to greatly determine. There's definitely, discussion of exporting to location that may not be exactly approved by the crown currently. But the only way you're able to determine that is just by taking some time to, okay, this short end here may be that.
Is there anything that would indicate? Well, you said there's nothing that indicates their relation to the Doyles at all, right?
You do mention there's certain things about spies from the east and things like that, which is something that Doyle are trading with.
Right. Well, specifically, I was going with the side thing that my contacts had provided me, the off the books or the not a shipment that isn't spices or that is labeled suspiciously.
Yeah.
From, in relation to the Doyles, is there anything particularly about that?
Yeah, there's something just called furniture from the east.
Furniture from the east.
Yeah.
Does it? Does it give any details as to like, is that in this warehouse somewhere? Is it markings that would tell us which box it would be or anything like that? Or is that still here by that ledger?
You've been close to those like previous nights. There's typically like marking from the country of origin, and general like numbers on them. The crate when they receive them, they label them with numbers. You do see that there is indeed a number on next to the ledger, at least a serial number. If it's still within the warehouse or not, I mean, you will have to go through various crates. But you do see that, if there's a number next to it, it was most likely received at said warehouse.
So there's no marking saying that it was received and then moved on. It's not marked off as having been shipped onward or anything. Is it that kind of ledger? Would it show that it's been moved on?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this just receiving and something?
Yeah, it's something I was receiving, in and out of the warehouse.
So it's marked off as not being here anymore?
Yeah. Like, most of it, has been crossed off on the ledger.
Mm-hmm.
So you're only able to guesstimate that there was...
So the furniture one is specific. Furniture one specifically.
Yeah,
is
there's
gone.
a few that are crossed off and things like that are marked as, that seems to be legit. That's how you're able to tell that this one was marked.
Does it have an address or anything as to where it was sent? Or who picked it up? Or a name or anything?
They seem to have, been an address, but was, quickly scribbled over.
May I ask a kind of dark question?
I mean, I'm all about this, yes.
Is there any recent shipments from London going out in any pairs of twos that would make it look like the children were shipped off somewhere?
As human cargo? Based on that, I mean, there's a lot of things that has been shipped out in pairs of two. There may be a few.
Anything recent?
A few things within the past weeks.
Anything lining up with when the Doyles went missing?
They may be, yeah. But is that, necessarily that?
Take the book, or at least this page, and let's get to somewhere where there's some better light. I have a suspicion, too. Not quite as dark as yours.
I don't want to take it. That's too obvious. Can I, copy it down onto, a scrap of paper?
Yeah, you could probably find some paper around. It will take you some time. And while you're doing that, your friend taking a nap, is shuffling around.
I'm going to rip out that page. I'm going to take my knife and cut the page out.
All right, then we go.
And off you go.
Specifically,
just carefully copying it down. Basil just specifically straight.
There's two kind of people. One that will take the time to copy without leaving a trace, and somebody that just go, fuck it, I'm just going to take it.
Well, specifically because copying will give me what I want to see from this.
Yeah.
Which is I want to try and see and decipher through the scribble if I can get the address. Which your copying won't get us.
True.
No offense.
Okay.
But copying in the dark won't help it.
Okay. Do we want to get outside the warehouse?
Is there anything left in the bottle that the drunk guy had?
Do you look at the flask? I mean, it seems to be fairly empty.
Any drinks of any kind left sitting around? Coffee cups, any of that?
I mean, there's, a few, cups and things like that which are empty.
Trying to poison this dude?
Nope, I was going to try to cover our tracks and spill something all over the books.
I mean, if you do have liquid in your pockets, because you have so many things.
That's true, yeah. Sure, I'll find something feasible.
We may have...
I'm taking...
I don't like the sound of the dice rolling, so I think that's the sign that we should
No, that's just me like
he
rolling
has to
for his
that's
deep
how he
pocket.
find.
Oh, he rolls.
That's,
Okay.
that's my deep
Yeah, and I
pocket
got
thing.
2 6 on there, so.
Okay, so apparently.
Does
don't have
James have that bottle of whiskey?
I think he finished that
finished
two
the second
sessions
night.
ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Got the second night.
I mean,
Speaking of,
I do have
taking the
oil,
best
but
flask.
No, it'd be better if it was alcohol because A, alcohol bleeds through ink, and B, it could be
It
blamed
burns.
on the drunk.
I mean, there may be like a few like drips in the flask.
Can we take the last of it and shake it out on the papers?
I'll allow it.
like crumple up the paper like someone was trying to wipe it off and clean it up.
Make a bit of ruckus, but yeah, he's still sleeping.
Okay.
He's really shit at his job.
Yeet. Yeah.
Heat.
No. Book it.
But you are able to easily enough make your way out of there, closing the door and locking it back behind you so it doesn't look overly suspicious.
I will state I am keeping the flask.
Wait, no, that's...
You need to do that, my
I
friend.
forgot to roll my resolve not to steal stuff from the warehouse.
I'm not.
You make an
gonna
excellent
roll
point.
it.
I mean, most things
no,
would be
this
difficult
is-
to
I mean-
steal per se. Like if you like
Things are going too well. I feel you.
In fact, just
French.
try to pocket something random from the warehouse.
Leave no trace.
You have two kleptos. How well do you think that's gonna work?
Leave no trace.
One argument could be made is you're supposed to be watching the warehouse. You shouldn't have seen us doing this.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Okay. Do we want to? I have this idea. If we make our way back to the landlord's mate, decipher this in some privacy, and then tomorrow I think we need to go to speak to Mrs. Doyle, and potentially also Mr. Doyle.
yes, that's
That does seem to be our most likely lead at this point.
There's definitely more going
From
on than just the
this
missing
branch of
children.
investigation.
Also, just for completeness, if there's time, for some reason I think we need to speak to that theater troupe as well.
This is true.
And we need to re-speak out of character. We need to re-speak with the old lady because of the one person. Remember,
Oh,
you heard somebody that sounded relatively similar to her with
we
the
need
other
to go
guy.
talk to the prostitute
the
again?
prostitute.
No, that wasn't the old lady. That was the prostitute.
Yeah, it was Alexander's
okay.
friend.
Oh,
For interest, anyway.
Okay. I think landlord's mate. Take a second to figure out what the hell we are looking at. Again, another tinfoil hat. I don't know what tinfoil is. Another metal hat discussion. And then tomorrow, I think we need to talk to some Doyles. Because we aren't having much luck finding the ones we need to find.
this might pose us.
Are we sure they actually had children?
Theater troupe?
Plot twist: they never had children. They've been dead for 10 years.
Plot twist is a figment of Miss Doyle. Plot twist: Miss Doyle was having a breakdown.
Would not be surprising.
Wouldn't be surprised on why she hired us.
Yeah, I mean, it's our. We are evidence of her clouded judgment.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, is it early enough in the night for us to still theoretically go hit the theater troupe before we retire for the night?
That's a good question.
With all the
It's
travel
gonna have
across
to be a one or
town,
the
it'd
other.
be probably a bit late by now. If anything, it would
Okay.
be like the tail end of a late show. I mean, there's always,
Alright, then,
theater
yeah.
people that they might, go out and party. Because, why not?
But that
Is it-
requires us to search pubs. We don't know who we're looking for.
Well, I mean, if it was on the way, we stopped there, and we checked with the night janitor or something. It's like, oh, hey, we were supposed to meet them, but we don't know where they went off to. Do you know where they hang out? And then that way, potential. Or we do it tomorrow. How out of the way is this theater from where we are to the to our bar?
It'd be a fair bit out.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, on foot it would take about like an hour, easy.
What if we flag down a ride? Would that help significantly?
It may help us quite a lot, time-wise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, depending on the part of town, things like that. Depending where you flag it, it may take some time just to get one.
Just along our path till it becomes impractical to go to the.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we're more than 50% to our bar.
Yeah.
Worth it, but on the way, if we manage to see one,
on the way, you would definitely be able to, at least, like either see the one of those horse-drawn carriage or one of those more, quote unquote, modern, steam-powered carriage.
Question to the party: do we want to do that? Do we want to try and catch the tail end of the theater troop, or just go to? I'm trying to decipher this page more.
I say we go try and decipher the page and figure out what our plan is for the next day.
I agree with that. I think we need to. I think, although it's not a ton more information, it is still a little bit more information, and I think that we're kind of working with a case here that's like you take every single scrap of information that you have, and then I think tomorrow cross-referencing it with the Doyles is going to be important.
Right.
I feel like before we talk to the Doyles, we might want to make sure we've crossed off the conversation with the theater people.
Yeah, stop there first, potentially.
Okay, but so we'll put that on tomorrow night's
itinerary.
list. Tonight we'll just go decipher what we've got between the ledger and the garbage note I have.
Okay.
Alright.
I think also...
Or do we want to go to... Because we're closer. Because we've already established my family has a warehouse, and I have a shop in that warehouse. Go there where I might have more equipment to actually might be useful in cleaning up and reading these notes.
I just also had one last thought, because there's 5 million things you can do this evening. Do we want to stop by the Bearded Wench and see if my friend is there?
That's not too far away. We could do that and still make it back to my warehouse, rather, or which is closer to the Bearded Wench, our bar or the warehouse? Because I know we ended up taking the long way around following the guy.
The warehouse would be closer to the Bearded Wench than your pub.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we could do that, but she might not be there for... Just confirming her absence wouldn't do anything. Because she might be absent because she's with a customer.
No, but if she's there...
But she's had time. We had time to get here, so she...
She's had time to get...
Also, if we're going to try to go talk to her, we might want to decipher this first so that we have more information with which to kind of bait her.
True.
Yeah, because there's no guarantee that meeting went on much longer than we were there. We had time to travel here and shenanigans. It's entirely possible. We could always second-hand verify it. Tomorrow is like, oh, I was looking, you could approach the barkeep. It's like, oh, I was looking for so-and-so last evening. Was she busy off with one of the regulars or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And find out if she was working that night or not, separately. Going there now wouldn't prove anything. I mean, we can if everybody wants to. I just don't know that it proves anything.
I think the best bet is to go straight to, I guess, your warehouse and see what we can get out of these notes. And then see if we have time still to hit the bearded wench after with whatever information we might have gleaned from the notes.
That sounds like a plan.
All right.
Sorry, I'm very distracted by Rafiki's cat in the background.
Yeah, I saw Kitty.
Okay, so to the warehouse, and we'll try and make sense out of these two notes.
Pull out the notes.
All right, so you eventually make your way across, to that warehouse, which is not, too far from here, and it is something that your family owns, so you do have, you don't have to lockpick your way in. You have keys. You go to, where everything is in here, and where there's like a little, side office for, a little science experiment where I think doesn't need to go be, packed and manufactured. It's more like development type of area, which you often go and hang out and mess around, and usually try not to make the place blow up because it would be very dangerous.
Just no smoking. Yeah. It's a bit of advice, and also don't drink anything unless. Yeah, just don't.
Yeah.
And Alexandra kind of looks and is like, "How do you still have all your fingers?"
I'm very good at what I do, and I don't take chances.
Even those that don't take chances are still.
Maybe luck has been on his side as well.
I mean, I used to have 7 brothers, but.
So that's how he still has all his fingers. He lost his brother's fingers.
I think
may or may not be true.
Yeah. All right. So, what's the plan within this warehouse, Basil? Is your
one for the scribbled out ledger. I want to take a closer look at it in a clearer light where it can actually be more easily read.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly, I'm interested in the scribble out of the address that the suspicious shipment is.
All right.
The Doyles don't deal in furniture, but they've got a furniture shipment. I know that they had something that being shipped in that they shouldn't be. I want to take a real close look at it with like magnifying glass, whatever, because unless they are really beyond government level efficient, it's really hard to actually make something illegible just by scribbling over it. So between, maybe blotting it off a bit, doing the, the light, looking at the texture of it, whatever necessary to try and get any piece of the address, if at all possible, on that line, and or anything else suspicious about the ledger.
All right. And how much time do you wish to spend on that?
Depends how much of a mess it looks. Maybe half hour.
All right. Let's say you spend about like an hour.
If necessary, if it's not like a quickly solvable thing, Basil will probably be willing to work on this during the night or tomorrow during the day.
All right.
But we also have the note that Zephrine found in the garbage to look at too, because I didn't hear what anybody said with that.
All right. The person investigating that, since you have now actually appropriate light, it would still be a difficulty 6 to read properly. So those are looking at the ledger and the note. Roll for that would be a perception, and if you have any specialty that you can add on top of that, please do so.
See what kind of BS stuff situation.
I don't think I can add. I don't think I can weasel my way into the extra too.
With a better light, go for it.
Oh, I can? Yay!
Yeah.
A very kind GM is Rafiki.
I have my days.
get my regular perception. And it's with a 6 difficulty, you said?
Yep. Because you don't have much to work with here, so.
Mm-hmm.
1
Two
success,
dice.
4 failures.
The free dice is just not your jam. Like, you should
Definitely
go
not
in and
making
out,
any heads or
pick,
tails of this.
pick things.
Kill. Hey. 2 successes, 3 failures.
Because, I mean, there's
Yes.
gonna be, like, regardless of, the role, essentially what I'm determining here is, like, the amount of time that certain things will take to get more information.
Alexandra's getting hit by the post. All that hanging onto the carriage is really getting to her, and she's
Yeah.
like, I need a nap. It's late.
3 failures, 4 successes, so I got one of the good.
Yeah.
We're really good at this, y'all.
So it takes.
The best I could come up with was using my lab, so
It would
the best
take
of it
some
they could give
time,
us.
for sure. Having the labs there does help to a certain extent. At least, shortening the time that, it will take to determine most things. So, from what you can tell, let's go with the ledger. You are able to confirm, by looking at, like, shipment address and things like that, that this was indeed for Mr. Henry Doyle. The address seems to mostly match. Because
So
you went to that house.
Delivered.
Yeah.
It was being delivered to his house.
Or, somebody from his house went here and picked certain things, which is most likely the case. And it was in, recent weeks, right? So it's if anything, it is new things that he acquired. Probably was shipped here prior to him getting back to London. But it matched that date-wise.
And does it align with the information I'd gotten from my contacts?
Yeah, a little bit.
The illicit. Okay.
For the note that was tossed in the trash, taking more time, looking over the ledger, looking at this, you do notice that the handwriting doesn't match. You're not sure, so obviously it's not Harrington himself that wrote this note, or if he did, he, took out, a much better handwriting, because what he has in his ledger took you a long time to understand, because he has a shit handwriting. It does not match. You do mention, and do, like, briefly, like, see a D, O, and most of the rest has been, like, burnt off. And there's mention of, but it's really hard to tell. So it obviously has a little bit of a connection on depending on who sent that to Mr. Harrington. Obviously, this must most likely be evidence to something.
Just a thought. This didn't have much bearing on what this note says. It's just a thought that I just had. How likely is it that note was somewhere near the fire we set when we were leaving the?
I mean, that's
very
your
unlikely.
speculation.
How
but
recent is that ash? How
It's,
recent is the smoke smell?
it's probably been there like for like a few days. It's
Okay,
nothing.
so it's
nothing,
older than when we set a blaze to the warehouse.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not gonna take the ash from down in the warehouse and put it in the office trash can.
Yeah. I mean, you went to the office, nothing in there, like really, add a bit of fire. You probably did notice that, there was probably a bit of soot on the trash can itself. But
Okay.
I mean,
It was just a thought
put
I
your
had.
mind at ease, those are not related. You did not cause that note to be on fire.
Okay. Thank you. That was just my oh god, did we Do we screw up our own investigation by throwing a
Yes,
fireball?
but not in that particular
That
instance.
would be on brand, but...
It would be on brand.
The ultimate answer to your question is yes. Just not with that particular instance.
Oh my god.
All right.
When this campaign eventually ends, Rafiki, you're gonna need to tell us all the ways that we messed with your main plans.
I'm gonna tell you all the about all the little threads that were there that were missed either by
stuff
going
that
somewhere
we blatantly
else.
missed.
Yeah,
as long as it's not actually like recorded, because I don't need that humility recorded that we. Oh yeah, those blatant clues that you completely didn't even look for. Yeah, no, I don't.
Because as you all doing those things, all my NPCs are doing their things in the background. Their world's not stopping.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm excited to find out all the ways we messed with your plans.
All right.
Do we want to stop by after doing all this? Do we want to stop by the bearded wench, see if?
Do we have time?
It's late.
Because the amount of time it took us to look at and really heavily decipher the stuff.
Yeah, this is taking us
mostly
probably
with
quite
success
on.
versus failure was coming up. He said so. I'm not sure we've got any time. I think Bearded Wench might be closing down.
I mean, I don't think it actually closes. It's a tavern.
But our own physical endurance.
Okay, the sun is about to come up.
The point being that you guys, most of us have day jobs and can only go without sleep for so long.
True. Okay, do you want to call it a night? And then where do we want to meet up tomorrow? Or I guess today. It's late.
I think we want to investigate the theater area before we go discuss with the Doyles whatever we think we've found so far.
Keep in mind, the Doyles probably don't keep as late of hours as we do. So we may have to make this a 2-night expedition.
Yeah. Well,
the GM has something to say?
Stumbles on us in the on the morrow. As to where we meet up, yes, we should probably meet up somewhere closer to the Doyles and or the theater.
Theater first. Check all of our leads before we go check.
Why don't we just meet there? We check the schedule and see when their early show ends and meet then.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, we can catch that though.
Could be useful.
And I probably will, just to make sure I'm there on time.
Alright.
Also, it certainly doesn't hurt to keep up some method of appearances that I'm, taking part in society.
Mm-hmm.
So, for sake of brevity, I'm assuming everybody is gonna, go his separate way, get some rest. In the afternoon, say 4 or 5 o'clock the day after, while the sun is still up, meeting at the theater, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So, you do all eventually, reconvene in the theater. Sun is still up at a pavilion. For off Broadway type of theater, it still appears to be fairly busy. It caters to all. It's not Shakespearean plays, but some people don't do like that. There's a few posters here and there that many are just torn off or covered over with whatever is the show of the day. There's still one poster, slightly off with the name of the French actor on it, which is currently in progress, or going to be in progress soon. As there is a bit of a lineup waiting to get inside.
jump to the theater? I thought we were going to do that next session.
I mean, I can, do a few.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost 9.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's where we're gonna leave it for tonight. As we are about to possibly enter the theater, the pavilion with what will possibly be one of the worst play you ever seen.
Probably.
Excellent. I know we need to stop off first and get some produce because I have skills in throwing, and if it's really bad, I'm going to make use of it.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely a few like produce stand nearby, especially just for they know that the places in there are usually shit, and people do love to toss in some cabbage and tomatoes and potatoes.
Okay.
So, target breakfast.
I agree. I'm buying some too.
All right. So that's where we're gonna leave it for tonight. I want to thank everybody here on my cast to be wonderful and go on this strange little investigative session here. Some clues were discovered. There's definitely a connection between the Doyles and Mr. Harrington. The extent of this relationship isn't exactly clear, but I'm sure that we'll find out hopefully next session. And there's also gonna be meeting the theater people, which is always fun. They're usually a strange little bunch. So thank you everybody for coming by and watching this show. Stay posted on our social at the GR Crew on Twitter. That's where everything that will happen on this channel, everything nice that we may unexpectedly take off, because sometimes things happens in life. It will be posted there. Otherwise, I'll see you next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, as per usual, for episode 7 of Victorian Vigilante. As we know, we're, I think, about at this point, depending on how well and talented our crew is, near the halfway point to this campaign. It's not meant to be a 150 episode campaign. I'm sorry, but I don't have the brain power for that. So yeah, we will all see you around. But just if you don't mind sticking around, we will just bring some of the GR love to some friends, because that's just what we do. So until next time, have a good day, have a good night, or whatever time zone you're in. Catch you later.